Okay, so let's see this one. So this is something called Giffinger's smart city framework. So with this, there are 6 key performance areas which is providing structure for smart city analysis. One is like smart economy, and which addresses innovation, entrepreneurship and competitiveness. Like can 2 cities compete with each other? Like it's not like a healthy competition, right? I know, like for some time back there was a competition between Hyderabad IT industry and the Bangalore IT industry. So like there's a it's a healthy competition between the cities, so which can generate ideas and businesses also. And then smart people involves human and social capital like education, diversity, that residents educated and they diverse or they engaged, etc. And then smart governance, which cover participation, which is very crucial, and public services, transparency in government, responsive and inclusive. Then smart mobility, which addresses local accessibility and national and international connectivity, like can people move efficiently. Smart environment, which is involves natural resources and environmental protection, like is the city sustainable or not. And smart living addresses cultural facilities, health, safety, which is nothing but to measure the life, quality of life, okay, is good or not. So this framework avoids technology determinism, like you don't ask like do they have IoT, or but rather is their economy smart, something like that. And this framework also include multiple dimensions, if you see here, because cities are complex, very complex, and they are very dynamic, and optimizing one dimension, okay, maybe economy through automation, might harm another one, like smart living through reduced employment. So there is a lot of trade-off, like successful cities, they balance, okay, dimension and then recognizing whatever the interdependencies. So this is one of the very important framework in the smart cities. So these are the city, Indian context. Let me come back, but whatever understanding we have globally, and later finally we have to have, based upon our socio-economical, cultural aspects, like what's the Indian context. So there are like 8 pillars of smart city initiatives. So one is like society. You can see here, is it a smart citizen, like the stakeholders, citizen stakeholders, right? This emphasizes bottom up participation. And then economy, it's a driver of urban competitiveness and kind of GDP contribution. And then smart cities are economically should be successful also. And then other one is like management, smart infrastructure, urban service management, how cities operate and they deliver services. Then governance, smart decision making and administration, how the decisions are being made, how fast the decision has been taken, and something like that. Technology, ICT as essential driver, and then that's enabler, the legal regulatory framework, okay, and policy compliance, and creating or enabling environments. Then finally sustainability, economic or social, environmental balance, as I said, like we should have a balancing kind of approach, and long term viability. Okay, whatever we do is like we should check for the long term viability also, inclusiveness, digital equity, accessible services, and ensuring all benefit, like from these 8 pillars, they are interconnect. And weak law, it may disable this technology implementation, or poor governance can waste resources. So the Indian framework, it differs slightly from the Western frameworks by emphasizing governance and inclusivity more heavily, reflecting that development priorities. So which is I can see a difference from the Western framework. And then see the technology integration components, like core technologies. What are those things? One is like IoT, Internet of Things, so like network of interconnected physical objects, like we have sensors, different kinds of sensors, cameras, smart devices, big data analytics, and which process large complex data sets for insights, and artificial intelligence. We know that how the decisions, automation, data decision making and optimization is happening using lot of AI models in every area. Cyber physical systems integrating this computational networking with a physical world. Okay, so like kind of you create a digital twin and then work on that, etc. IoT in smart cities specifically involves smartphones, smart meters, smart sensors, RFID systems, etc. And it requires basically the three capabilities. One is like it should have intelligence, that means like it should process the information, and it should have interconnection, that means like devices are connected, so entire things are all connected devices, and then instrumentation like physical devices. So all these things, all three are very, very crucial, and this combination, it creates a powerful system, right? And like these IoT sensors monitor water quality in real time in a pipe. Okay, some some source or thing can mixed up with a drinking water distribution, and then how to get an alarm, like whether if some water get polluted at some, maybe because pipe got broken or some impurities have entered into the drinking water pipeline. So how can we monitor that, right? And it's a so AI analyzes this kind of data also, and CPS responds by adjusting purification, that's automatically, and the citizens can see the water quality through the mobile apps. It is possible actually, we developed such system before, and without any component our system fails, like so without sensors there is no data, without AI or this data is useless. So without smartphones citizen can't access the information. So integration of all these things create a intelligent system, right? So let's see how to do the integration part. So in implementing the smart city components, so integrating this systems, so like it has like 4 major challenges. You can see here technical integration, which can connects like diverse systems and the platforms. Sometimes it is difficult when systems use different standards, and then data integration standardizes formats, ensuring interoperability, like challenging across legacy and new systems. And then organizational integration coordinates multiple departments and agencies, like we have different kinds of water supply systems, and then there are a lot of bureaucratic challenges as much as technical. Then financial integration, which creates sustainable funding and cost sharing models, like financial innovation as important as a technical innovation nowadays. So critical success factors, which include standardization, which ensuring this common protocols, like scalabilities, that's such an important thing, so that you can scale whatever the system or the technology you develop, that can be scaled up to any size of a city, any big city. So it can secure protecting this infrastructure and data, citizen adoption, like ensuring this public aspects and uses these systems. So these are all some of the like successful smart cities. It address all these challenges simultaneously, and which can recognize that technology, organization, finance and people, all 4 must align together, otherwise the success may not be that much possible. So let me highlight some leading global examples, okay, demonstrating different approaches. The first thing that comes to anybody's mind is Singapore. Okay, recently I was talking to somebody who was explaining how Singapore has been developed. His presentation keynote was on that, like something very, very interesting, because they deploy this IoT. It's a very small country, like it's a smaller than Delhi. Okay, so it deploys IoT cameras for cleanliness monitoring throughout the city, every corner, highly monitored, and dense network of cameras, and that crowd density tracking system also they have, which prevents some kinds of dangerous overcrowding, and then autonomous vehicle testing, which prepares for future transportations, etc. So it's one of the very classic examples which everybody are aware. Then Kansas City, which implemented smart street lights, which adjust its brightness based on ambience parameters or activity, and it also deployed interactive systems which provide some kind of civic information. So it established 50 plus blocks of free Wi-Fi. And then San Diego, it installed more than 3,500 smart sensors for traffic optimization, and it also deployed solar charging stations for its EVs. Pune in India, it operates 100 e-buses which like to reduce emissions, and implemented extensive bicycle tracks, and developed digital governance services, created startup ecosystem, and some more. And then common success elements across these cities which I just mentioned include focus on citizen services, which is very important. Like benefits should be visible to the user or the resident, and then there should be environmental monitoring and improvement. When you are using solar or EV, etc. And then economic development through innovation, right? And there should be some kind of economic development, because when you are doing something, it should be saving some kind of money or resources also. And different cities emphasize different components. You have seen here in the last 4 or 5 cities which I just explained here, and based upon local priorities and capabilities, which is very important. It's not only local priorities and capabilities. I personally feel that understanding the local cultural and economic issues also. The lesson from this, what we can take away is like successful smart city implementation requires choosing appropriate component for its local residents context rather than implementing every possible technology. So every smart city has to have that kind of priority, I can say, based upon requirements of the city. So and then work in this particular framework. So we have an India Smart City Mission. We know that we had 100 Smart City vision of the country. It's a vision of making them environmentally green, effective, city system should be effective, and then making the city life stressless and joyful. Someone is commuting from his home to office, it should not happen it's very stressful. And financial framework allocates almost 48,000 crores in the last 5 years for this 100 rupees 100 crore per city annually has been allotted, and lot of work we can see here. I know some very good work happened in Indore and Ujjain smart cities also. And this implementation approach, it allows flexibility to 3 developmental models. So retrofitting, upgrading the existing areas with smart solutions, then redevelopment, comprehensive transformation of specific areas, and then greenfield development, new smart city areas on previously undeveloped land, developing some parks or common libraries and startup space where people can go plug in and work there. So these kind of things. And cities also implement pan city solutions, here the city-wide smart applications. Focus mainly is on sustainability and inclusive development using this technology very strategically. So this approach, if you see here, it contrasts with viewing smart cities as a technology showpiece. Right? It's not like that. Rather, it should be practical, deliverable with a better service to its residents, and also manage the resources effectively, then creating some kind of opportunity for economic opportunities, at same time protecting the environment, right? So success that's measured not by the deployment of technology, but by the impact it created in the life of the people or residents or the citizens. So that is how it is viewed at. So let me show some key takeaways from our discussion today. So I am just trying to synthesize. You can see here these components work as a integrated ecosystem. It's not an isolated system anymore. So we cannot have truly smart transportation without smart energy. Okay, so please understand, we cannot see these things differently. And then physical foundation, that smart infrastructure, and buildings, they provide essential services. Then we have a digital layer, that is ICT, IoT, big data, AI, which enable some intelligence into this, and then service deliverability like transportation, energy, healthcare, governance, which are reaching to the residents, and then human element, people should be smart enough, and sustainability framework, so there should be balance between economic, social and environmental needs, and then success formula combining technology, infrastructure, governance, citizens. So, which is all these combined, we can consider into a smart city. So, this is not well, it's not more complex, or because technology without infrastructure is something like a fantasy, and then infrastructure without governance is just a waste of resources. Then governance without citizens becomes like of no use or something, and citizens without benefit, they won't accept the system. So, overall all these four should be integrated, and the in two sense, like smart cities, they integrate all the elements with each one of it is supporting, and then this integration explains why smart city development is complex and also requires some time, okay, because all components must evolve together and make it as a strong thing for the development of any particular city.